The Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire with Tilly Storm is the only sex podcast for high-achieving leaders wanting to experience the best sex and the epic relationships of their lives without dragging their partner to therapy, blaming it on their hormones, or trying things in the bedroom that don't feel authentic. I'm your host today, Tilly Storm, top 20 sex coach in the world. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Tilly, and today I'm excited because we are starting a 3-part series on conscious couples. I did a survey recently to my audience asking what their biggest challenges and struggles were in their sex life and relationship. And the top 2 that I heard were, by far, number 1, mismatched libido, and number 2, sexual communication issues. Now, this is what has inspired the Conscious Couples series. Today, we're going to be talking about communication beyond the argument, how to resolve sexual communication blocks. Why? Because when we can't talk about sex in an effective and an efficient and fun way, then we just stop talking about it altogether, which is extremely detrimental in your long-term relationship. Because if you're not constantly getting feedback from your partner and talking about your wants and desires, then it's likely one or the both of you are very unsatisfied with your sex life. The question remains, how do we resolve communication blocks in a way that brings us more sexual satisfaction? Okay, let's talk about what sexual communication blocks are and why they often lead to the same argument over and over again that you've probably been having for 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years. I work with a lot of couples in the 15 to 25 year of being together range. And this is one of the things that I hear over and over. And even in my own relationships, I've experienced this personally, is that even if you have a really solid relationship, you're great teammates, you love each other dearly, but there's always that one thing that you keep circling in circles and it never seems to get resolved. And a lot of times that is either a money or a sex thing. It usually always comes down to one of the two things, because both of these aspects of our lives touch on core wounds. My partner, Chris, his podcast, he's been talking about Ramit Stay Hot. He has a show on Netflix called How to Get Rich, and Ramit's podcast is like, I Will Make You Rich or something like that. I can't exactly remember the name of it. Anyway. So throughout the show, he interviews several couples and several individuals about their money situation and how they deal with money together. And I'm thinking the whole time, oh my God, what if we did this exact same thing around couples and their sex lives to show people what actually goes on and how to teach people to get on the same page sexually? Oh, that would be such a good one. Maybe one day Netflix will offer me a deal to do that, and I would so take them up on it. But in the meantime, sexual communication blocks or obstacles, they definitely hinder the satisfaction in your sex life, because when you're not talking about something, the longer you're not talking about it, it's like an elephant in the room, and then it just grows and grows and grows and grows. Or you are talking about it, but the way that you're talking about it is just leading you in circles and nothing ever seems to get resolved, often leading to the same argument for years and decades. So why are sexual communication issues so hard to resolve? Because they touch on core wounds. They touch on core wounds. Talking about sex is one of the most vulnerable, emotional expressions, one of the most vulnerable and emotional forms of communication that a person could possibly have, even more so than money. So when we watch Ramit's show and we see how much these couples struggle with their money together, just take that and amplify it even more around sexuality, because it's so challenging to talk about something when you are constantly feeling misunderstood, invalidated, rejected, resentful, or it's just going to lead to a conflict. And our default is to either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It all comes back to the nervous system, ladies. Yeah, every single time. When you have issues with sexual communication, this is often because at some point when you've been trying to resolve something or share with your partner something that you want or like or you want to try, then it often will come back to not feeling safe, not feeling seen, not feeling understood. And these are core wounds that we're being triggered because of something that happened in the past when we were growing up, or when we first met and our partner may have done this one thing that made us believe that, oh, they're never going to want to do that with me, so I'm just going to have to write that off, suppress that desire, and I guess I'm just never going to be fulfilled. What I want to teach you today is the 3-part conscious communication for couples that I teach my private clients, because this is an absolute game changer for helping you to stop the arguing, beyond the arguing, get beyond the arguing. Sometimes it might not be arguing because you've gone into freeze or fawn and you're not even arguing about it. It's just not something you're even bringing up anymore because your system is like, I can't handle that. I don't want to have that conversation again. We're just not going to have it at all. I'm going to show you a 3-step process today to begin speaking consciously with your partner about sexuality, about what you want, what you like, what you're requiring, what you're desiring in your sex life and relationship in a way that feels safe and secure. Now, I did Beyond Safe Spaces. I did an episode on safe spaces, and you can go catch my thoughts and beliefs on creating safe spaces and containers for communication and connection in a relationship. And when I speak about safe spaces and conscious communication containers, I am speaking of the people, the couples in particular, who are in that healing stage of sexuality. I talk about in that previous episode how there's really only one stage of sexuality that having conscious containers and creating safe spaces becomes required. And that's when one of the two of you are in a healing phase of sexuality, because you want to evolve past what I am going to share with you today. The purpose of sharing with you what this 3-step process is to basically teach you the fundamentals that allow safety within your communication. And then once you get the hang of it, then it becomes natural communication. It becomes like not something you have to say, honey, we need to talk. What is the first thing that happens in your body when you hear those words? It's probably like immediate flutters or shutdown or shit, did I do something wrong? Or, oh, fuck, not this thing again, right? That's usually what comes up. You want to evolve in your communication and connection with each other past the need to create specific communication containers and safe spaces. You want to be able to talk freely and openly. And what I'm sharing with you today in this 3-step process is how you can begin to openly communicate with your partner without it being like a thing you have to do with your sex coach. So, what is the 3 steps to conscious communication? Here you go, my loves. You start with sharing what you're feeling, experiencing, or thinking using I statements. I feel, I am experiencing, I'm thinking. Okay, that's step 1. You share what you're experiencing and thinking, and you never, ever, ever make it about your partner. It is always about your experience, what you are thinking, what you are feeling. Now, let's take an example here. We're going to use an example of a woman who wants to try tantric sex with her partner. And her partner is like, I don't even know what that means. I'm not sure about that. That seems weird. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't, that sounds too woo-woo for me, or it doesn't sound exciting. Okay. And maybe, let's say this couple has been together for 15 years. Maybe the woman has learned about Tantra. She knows some things already. She wants a deeper connection with her partner. But in the past, anytime she's brought up learning a tantric practice or talking about Tantra with her partner or sacred sexuality with her partner gives her these weird stares or looks at her like she's crazy or seems completely disinterested, even though she really wants it. So the woman would say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking that something I would really like to experience with you sexually is to try some sacred sexuality practices so that we can feel more connected and close to each other. And then step 2 is you stating why you are feeling, experiencing, or thinking that thing. So this is a deeper why, okay? So you would say something like, I'm feeling this way because, we've been together a while, and while I love you and our connection is awesome, I just really feel like we could take it even deeper, and I want to explore the possibilities in our connection with each other. And I think that this avenue would provide a really amazing way for us to connect on an even deeper spiritual level. Ooh, how did that feel, right? To share what you wanted and then why you wanted it. Okay, now then there's the third step. This is where you're going to state what you desire and make any required asks. Okay, what is it that you want? And make a required ask. So what I'd like to experience is to try some sacred sexuality or tantric practices together. Would you be open to trying that with me at least once? And you know what? If you don't like it, we can totally drop it. But I'm just curious if you would be open to having this sort of experience with me. Would that work for you? And then you wait. You wait. This is how you consciously communicate. This is drastically different than the woman who just beats around the bush and just starts to show her partner the book on sacred sexuality and leave it on the coffee table where he's going to see it in the morning. And she starts making these suggestive hints, but she never explicitly says what she wants, or she just starts talking about Tantra and how she wants to go on this retreat or do this program, and never actually shares with her partner what she wants, why she wants it, and what the ask is. This drives men freaking crazy when women aren't clear about what they want and what they can do for them, okay? So when you're wanting to practice conscious communication, it's all about sharing step 1, what you're feeling, using I statements. Number 2, why you're feeling it. And number 3, what you want to be experiencing instead of what you have been experiencing, and making the required ask. When you do this, your relationship will change forever, okay? How you communicate about anything is going to change. I suggest using this just in any topic and any situation that you're having a discussion with your partner on, because this is what creates open communication instead of having to go to some specific practice or to use some specific tool or technique. And while those are required during the healing phase to repair any core wounds that come up because you two have been together for a while, you've experienced the resentment or the shutdown or the feeling of being judged or misunderstood. It's okay, let's create this container where I'm going to, Tilly, I'm going to lead you two through a practice where you're going to begin to communicate. And there are rules in this communication exercise. And the reason that we do that is to teach you to how to learn to hold space for each other. That we teach you to how to actually listen, coactive listening, not just listening to figure out what to say next or how to reply, but we're listening to feel the deeper understanding, the meaning behind what your partner is saying. And when we learn to hold space and communicate on this deeper level, this is when communication issues tend to reside and the argument tends to go away. And the thing that you have been circling back around for 15, 20, 30 years, it just disappears. All right. It happens every single time when I work with a couple, when we go through the communication practices, that they're just oh my God, how have we never learned to speak to each other like this? We have been together 15, 20, 30 years. And how is this just coming across our radar? This should be required learning for every couple. Sadly, many people don't have access to this sort of stuff. But when you work with me, you can even go download free communication practices that I provide in the Tantric Sex Starter Kit and the link in the show notes. And you can do these on your own. But this is really how we learn to communicate in a relationship in a conscious way. So for those of you that are struggling with communication in your relationship, especially when it comes to sex, when you start to implement the 3-part conscious communication practices, and you start to get the hang of it, and it eventually becomes second nature. When you couple that with the communication practices that I provide when in any of my programs, when you work with me as a couple, this is when the communication completely shifts. Okay. So this is where I want to invite you to go deeper with me. If this is something that you have been struggling with for a long time in your relationship, this is what I created the FXX Blueprint Program for. So I created this program after working with couples and individuals for 6 years and seeing like what actually does it take to ensure couples never get bored in the bedroom again. Well, one thing that's required is they have to try new things. Another thing that's required is that they have to communicate about trying those new things. And number 3, they have to experience a deep level of connection. So this program is specifically designed to help those of you wanting to improve sexual communication, deepen your connection, and banish bedroom boredom forever. So if you are freaking bored, if you're wanting to spice things up, if you're wanting to try different flavors of sexuality, try new things, but you don't know how to do that, you don't know how to initiate that conversation, it doesn't feel safe to do that, this is what this program is for. So if you're ready to finally master the art of sexual communication, enhance your connection, deepen your connection, explore a multitude of new sexual experiences, anything from tantric and spiritual sex to kinky sex to wild primal sex. This is the program that I have created for couples. It is a 12-week group program, and I am only taking 6 couples in this program that is going to start on July 14th. Well, the last date to sign up is July 14th. We will start the week of July 17th. So for those of you who are interested in this program, I want you to go to the link in the show notes to get all of the details. All of the details are on the website. And if it's something that you're like, oh my God, I need this so bad, then I want to encourage you to apply. You have to apply by booking a call with me because I got to make sure, you're ready for this level of work and that you're screened. I don't want people just coming into the program where they're not a great fit. It needs to be a great fit on both ends and for the group. So this is a group program. So you will have weekly group calls with me. You'll have 12 weekly group calls with me. We will have a break over the 12 weeks because I know everyone's on vacation. I will be on vacation. Don't worry, we're not going 12 weeks start to finish. We're going to have 2 or 3 breaks in between for you to give you guys time to catch up with your date nights. So there are 10 sex date nights that you're going to be making your way through. And this is where you're going to be doing one of the communication practices, one of the connection practices, and then a sex practice on your own. And it's all audio and video guided practices that I have for you in a member library where you're going to explore these things on your own. And then in the group calls, you're going to come to me and we're going to talk about what came up for you. And we're going to go into core wound healing, all of these things so that you guys get the necessary accountability and support to really be done with the arguments, be done with the dissatisfaction, and get you two on the same page sexually. So for those of you that have been like, oh, we've tried couples counseling and therapy already, I want you to know that couples counseling and therapy has the lowest success rate of any therapy modality on the planet. It doesn't work. This is not that. Okay. This is more like if you could combine a couples therapy session with a sensuality retreat, with an epic pleasure education, and me guiding you through all of this to get the support that you really need to create the change. That's what this is. So it's actually fun. This isn't some boring couples therapy where we're just going to talk about your problems. We're not going to just talk about your problems. That is frivolous. It doesn't work. And it often creates more problems than when people started therapy or counseling. So we are going to go deep right off the bat. I do not sugarcoat things. No. We're just going to go into the issue, into the core wounds, so we can actually get you the breakthrough that you came for. There's no need to skirt around these things. You guys, most of my clients have been to therapy or counseling before, either for themselves or as a couple. You don't need any more of that. you need to actually do the practices. You need to practice the communication techniques. You need to practice the connection techniques, and you need the new things to try sexually, because what happens in relationships is the longer that we've been in them, the smaller the fence of what feels safe gets. And in order to combat that, you have to try new things. You have to explore. And for most couples, it doesn't feel safe to do that unless there's some sort of container like a group program or some format to lead and guide you into the practices when you otherwise wouldn't do it on your own. So I know a lot of you out there who have already done some work on yourselves or on your relationship. That's great. I want you to go take a look at the page. And if you feel in your body that, oh my God, yes, this is the solution, then I want you to book a call and let's see if it's the right fit for both of us. And let's go there together, because you likely paid $20,000 for your wedding. You likely paid a couple grand for your wedding dress, and you likely paid a couple grand for a wedding ring. So if you want something to change in your relationship, you know it's going to involve a financial investment. You know it's going to involve a time commitment. And for those of you who are willing to make that time commitment and the financial investment, how is this not worth it? You know, people spend all of this frivolous money on events that don't actually change their relationship or their sex life, that have no meaning to the quality of the relationship itself. And then they go bitch, whine, and complain about how much coaching or getting help actually costs for something that's actually going to improve the quality of their relationship. So the pricing is on the webpage. If you're interested in applying, I want to encourage you to go check out the webpage. There is a payment plan option or a pay in full option. And on the webpage, you'll also get a clue as to what all entails in the 10 sex date nights. So, my loves, if you're ready to transform your relationship, to improve your communication, to deepen your connection, and to be done with bedroom boredom forever, go check out the link in the profile and book a call with me. There is an early bird pre-sale pricing that you have only until July 3rd. That is this upcoming Monday, July 3rd. I have 2 more episodes coming out in this Conscious Couples series. Another one will be out tomorrow, Wednesday, and the third one will be out Thursday. I've never put out 3 podcast episodes back to back in a row over 3 days. But here we go, because I want you guys to be inspired to actually take action on this. You've been thinking about this for a long time. If you've been listening for a while, you've been thinking about doing something for a while. It's time to stop thinking about it and actually take action. What got you to this point in your relationship is not going to get you where you want to go. What got you here will not get you there. You've got to try something different, and it's time to take action. So to inspire you to take action, on July 3rd, the price will go up. On July 4th, the price will go up $1,000 for this program. So go check out the page now and book your call before July 3rd so we can get you in for the early bird pre-sale pricing, which is $1,000 less expensive than it will be on July 4th. The program will start the week of July 17th. So I'm super excited to learn more about the 2 of you. Both of you will need to be on the call. If for whatever reason none of the call times work, please shoot me an email and let me know, and I'll do what I can to help accommodate you. All right, loves, thanks so much for joining me, and I am excited to get to learn more about you. All right, bye.